It's your girl, Kizzy Rock. And yes, Kizzy Rock is my birthday given name. Happy Thursday morning. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well this season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Thursday morning, guys. Currently driving, so please bear with me. I want to talk and piggyback off of a topic that I was having with someone this morning. And that is when God have been clear to you to leave a person. In this sense, it's her spouse. In this sense, it's her spouse. But of course, I want to use this in the sense of just when God is calling you to leave toxic people who may be friendships. This can look like family members, etc., etc. Whoever. If you're toxic, you can get it, right? So, something just popped back in my mind. I was telling somebody last night, one thing that's going to keep a lot of people stuck in misery and stuck in bondages is that cliche phrase of blood is thicker than water. It literally have conditioned people to feel like no matter how toxic a parent can be, no matter how toxic siblings are, aunties, uncles, whoever, that because they're blood, you have to stay or let these people be in your lives without boundaries or without just cutting people off, period. So that popped back in my head. But anyway, back to the scenario. So she've experienced trauma in childhood, which sets the foundation a lot of times for who we are as adults. So as beautiful as she is, she still struggles with self-esteem and confidence, things like that. So when saying that, when she got married, I think like well over 10 years ago, she said she heard God says that that's God ain't in it, I'm not in this. But of course, we want what we want. It is what it is. We want what we want, especially before you really get tapped in, because she knew God, but not to the extent where she knows God now. So she pretty much override what God was saying, and she got married, and everything was good for a while. You know how that go. And then over the years, things got really stink. And they have children as well. So because I know her, I know that she is a person who deals with toxic empathy. Right? Learn that word from Pastor R.C. Blakes. That's just, listen, the person is just, you can't even walk away. It's because it's like you feel bad that you have to leave or quote unquote abandon people who are hurting you. Something keeps you tied there, even though they're destroying you, even though they don't care that they're hurting you. But then you're tied in there because you just feel like, but nobody else ever really was in their lives like me, right? Their mother abandoned them, and I promised them 35 years ago when we first got married that I would never ever do that, right? And this person truly is hurting you in every way. So here's the thing. Seasons changes, period. So again, there are going to be certain seasons where God make it very, very clear. I mean, all caps, clear that the season is up. In whatever. A marriage, a place, whatever. The season is up for certain things. So of course, we like to be comfortable. So we try to act like we don't really hear God, right? Or we prolong it and just let it linger, and then the more and more you let it linger, the more and more your convictions keep coming and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And then God will start to dry things up on you, including your feelings for that person. So as time go on, you will know, all right, God, I hear you. But, right, I haven't worked in 30 years, right, because I've been a stay-at-home mom. All right, God, I hear you, but I do love my family. And they all depend on me. Even though they're all over 60, they all depend on me. So I'm taking care of everybody. 40 people, and they're all over 60. Even though there's 30,000 other people in the family. But they're all used to me. They're all used to me cooking Sunday dinner. They're all used to me. They all come and drop in when they need this, right? We got all this stuff. And we don't even realize that feeling that you feel so good and warm and fuzzy that people depend on you, that's also part of trauma. It makes you feel good that people need you. And I'm not speaking about when God is using you for purpose, right? That's completely different. Because when God is using you, you don't even feel depleted when people, sometimes it can be trying to use you, whatever, right? Whatever, because it's not even about you. If God says help, regardless of what their intentions are, that doesn't affect you. You're just being obedient to what God tells you to do, right? So, because I do know, again, that she deals with, some self-esteem issues and things like that, it makes it harder to leave. Because sometimes in those toxic relationships, listen, people can beat you down so bad, right? You lose yourself within the marriage or the relationship. You lose yourself. You literally lose yourself. And sometimes that's intentional from the person who you're with, right? So now when it's time to leave, even though God said, you're still struggling with moving your feet. Because now you're thinking about, well, I don't even know who I am. Right? I mean, I don't even have the confidence to, well, how am I going to do this? I'm used to this thing. I've been doing this one thing for 35 years. I've been with this one person for, I don't know anything different. Even though it's toxic, it's comfortable. Even though it's toxic, it's comfortable. And sadly, we get comfortable in toxic situations, even though it's hurting us. But it's comfortable. But now God is calling us to something new. New locations, right? New people, new levels. Let me tell you guys. And it's true. I just had a revelation. It's true. Yesterday, I'm going left for a second here. Yesterday was something that I already know that God is like elevating me, right? And you know what elevation comes, like elevation of mindsets, of behaviors, this and that. But anyway, yesterday I was going to do something that I've been doing for a long time, right? And this is something in regards to like business or whatever. And when I went to do it, I heard God say no. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean? And he said, you're not doing that anymore. You only do it because you're comfortable. And I'm telling you, I am calling y'all higher. So higher means you got to stop thinking with the same mindset you did 5 years ago. You don't want to take risk, basically. So I'm telling you, you're in a season of elevation. I'm telling you, you speak it, it is. I'm telling you, you're in the Kairos moment. I'm telling you, you're in due season. I'm telling you, but you want to do something I've already released you from. There's no grace there no more. So even if you do it, it's not going to work because I ain't going to bless it. I'm only blessing what I'm calling you to. And I was like, well, snatch my edges. And it was true because like the thing that I was going to do, I got that on lock, right? I got that down pat. I know it inside out. But he wouldn't even let me do it. So when God is calling you to elevate, it's very uncomfortable because you're being stretched. So he's pulling you out of your comfort zone. And it doesn't feel good. And when you try to look back or when you try to shrink, he's going to convict you. And if you know how God moves, you better pay attention because he's not going to bless it. So you think, well, if I do this is going to make me money because I know how to do it. No, but he ain't going to bless it. So you ain't going to make no money. In fact, you will lose some money. You will lose money when you are out of the will of God. Let me just tell you, because I can write a book on that. Okay. But anyway, now you have the children. So she's, again, she's made a conscious decision to go. And she was just like, Kizzy, I don't even know where I'm going. I don't even know where I'm going. Oh, that's good. That just hit me. Speaking of stretching. So she was going to stay. She know God has asked her to relocate, right? She's going to leave, but she's going to stay in the same area. Like really, really close to where God is calling her from. And so she was set on that. And guess what? God shut it down. He won't even let nothing happen there. He kept convicting her. You are not staying here. You're going here. But because her obedience to God, she's like, you know what, God, I hear you. But now what is the enemy doing? Now he's using children and using family. And see, remember now, anything God is calling you to, he's going to fight it. So of course, with children, that's very hard because, you got friends and so it's hard to leave certain things. So now because you're following the voice of God, now the enemy's going to use all this other stuff to attack your mind. Like you're pulling your kids away from their friends and you don't even know anybody at that new place and you're going to fail because you only had a man to take care of you for the last 50 years. So you don't even know the first thing about paying bills, or like he's going to really attack your mind. But see, this is why you have to literally understand that you have to, when God calls you to it, God will take care of you. When God calls you to it, God will take care of you. I'm going to have a speed bump, so please bear with me. So I'm so proud of her because she's taken a step out on faith and don't even have nothing set up, including funds. Let me tell you, and I'm also very proud of her because I don't want to say she's not, it's not that she's fearful, not like but she does, she's like really shy and just kind of like in her own little shell and just kind of, you know what I mean? And so definitely not all in your face like me. So she's very, meek, so I'm so proud of her because I know the kind of strength that is going to take for her to do this and to make this ultimate decision, which she's already made. Like I already know she had to pull from her spirit, from her guts. Like this ain't no just, okay, I'm gonna do it. No. Ain't that easy. God is calling you to relocate. You ain't got no money. You ain't got your confidence or your self-esteem. You ain't got nothing except a word from God. So I was telling her, I said, from the time you start packing that house, from the time you are driving to wherever God is telling you to go, the enemy is going to fight you tooth and nail. You're going to probably be driving and crying at the same time. Crying while you're driving, all because you're going to feel like you're abandoning the people who are truly hurting you in this toxic, because I don't know what. He's going to be telling you you're fool, you're going to flop when you get here, nobody's going to help you, all the nonsense. He's going to fight you tooth and nail when you get there. But when you get there, there's going to be a newness of your spirit. Your spirit will be renewed. There's going to be like a light. There's going to be like this veil of heaviness and darkness and depression that literally lifts off of you. It's spiritual, but it literally lifts off of you. And then you have this boom, this aha moment, like, I didn't even realize how heavy this thing was. I didn't even realize how toxic this thing. I mean, I knew it was toxic, right? I knew it was toxic, but I didn't know how toxic. So sometimes you don't even realize what peace is until you get away from the toxic environments. And then you discover this peace. And one thing about discovering peace, once you discover peace, you will do everything in your power to protect that peace for the rest of your life. Once you discover peace, it will make it easy to put boundaries up. Once you discover true peace that surpasses all understanding. So I was telling her before we got off the phone, I said, you tried everything, and I know this, right? Because we were on the phone sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning just for years, right? I know you tried everything. You've tried counseling, you tried a pastor, you tried everything in your power to make this work, to the point of probably almost losing your own mind because you can't change a person. You want better for a person because this person is a person who, and speaking in general here, right? The person may have a great heart, but they got their own demons. See, we as people, and my God, have I been guilty of this? We think we have the power to fix people. Our job is not to be people's God. Our job is to lead people to God. But many times, especially people who, dealt with some type of trauma or rejections, etc., whatever, you think you can fix people. And our intentions are truly good, seriously. Our intentions are truly good. But the facts are, the logical thing is, we can't fix anybody. All we can do is fix ourselves. So I was telling her, I was like, sis, only God knows what God will do. God may bring it back together. Who knows? That's between you and God. But sometimes God have to literally separate us for different reasons. One, for people to really realize what they had. Another is sometimes the things that you were trying to get them to do, let it be therapy, counseling, this, and that, right? You were trying to get them to do this stuff, but sometimes you leaving will actually encourage them to finally get the help that they need. Because let me tell you something. It's something about when you just sitting there talking. I'm going to leave you. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. And that's one thing, right? People just, that go in one ear and go out the other. Especially because some men are they tune us out when we're quote unquote nagging. I mean, we're really just complaining to try to get you to understand, like, listen, I'm 1 foot out the door. But for some reason, they really can't receive it until they come home one day and that house is empty. You don't hear the kids running you crazy that you complain about all the time. Right? I'm not there to cook. I'm not there. So you come home to an empty house. And you might turn up for a while. You might hit the strip club. You might find you a little... That's going to get old real quick. Real quick. And then you have this reality check, this aha moment. And then you decide to go get help. But sometimes it may just be too late. But it's not too late for you because you still need the help anyway. But it may be too late sometimes for the relationship or the marriage. And that's okay. What's important is that you got the help you need with or without me. Because the way we move as chosen people, as empath, I don't care if we work or not. I truly still want the best for you. Like, seriously. Period. But another thing is, I was telling her, I said, we're quick to say things like, well, I'm going to leave so God can work on him. Or, listen, God going to work on you too. Right? He going to work on this person, but he's going to work on you too. He has to work on you because why? What is there in you and about you that make you feel like you can stay with a toxic person all these years, who is toxic themselves and also treating you horribly at times? So I got to work on you too. Because see, we don't even realize this many times. Many times we be in these relationships and these marriages and we don't even realize we're idling the man or the woman. So God will separate you, right, to work on you and really build that type of love more intimately with God. So you can realize that if he sends you back there, or if he sends you a whole nother person, it's going to be different. Because God comes first, period. So if that behavior ain't in alignment with that, who's staying where? I don't care if we got married September 24th. I will leave you September 26th on site. But that's only when God have really worked on you and God have loved on you and helped you to love yourself. You will walk away from somebody in a heartbeat. Somebody who's trying to affect your relationship with God, or trying to make you worship them and God. Child, okay, I will leave you on sight, period. So then she said, Kizzy, I was telling her how God will sometimes separate people, heal them individually, and bring it back together. I've seen that happen. But she's like, Kizzy, and let me just tell you, you have to be careful playing with those people who give everything when they're with you. I mean everything. Because when they leave, they're going for good. It's something about the people. I'm in that category. Like you give everything in the beginning, the middle, right? Even the end, but at the end, you know what's coming to the end, and you keep trying to warn people because you know how you move and you know what you're feeling in your spirit. So you keep having these meetings of the minds, like, sir, please get it together, because let me just tell you, right? I feel something coming on, and you know. But what you get hit with? Why are you nagging? Okay. You won't hear me nag again. And that's why I always tell men, when a woman stops nagging, quote unquote, when a woman stops nagging, be very, very careful. If she's still in your ear about something, she cares. And you might want to listen, sir. And I'm not saying we can sit there and just hammer them with stuff, right? You got to be strategic about it. But the point is, right? And I said, sis, I hear you. I hear you. Because I'm that way. And when it's done, it's done. It's almost like there's nothing in you to get, even if you want to make it work. Because whatever, people not perfect, and let's just try to work. But there's something in you that you can't even, you don't even have a desire to make it work. And so then I ended up by saying, I said, sis, it can go in different directions. God could take the desire now because he needs you to leave. Because if he don't take the desire, you ain't going nowhere. After all these years saying you're going, right? So he takes the desire to get you to leave. The desire will stay gone because he needs it to be gone, because he's working on you in the process, working on yourself, getting that confidence, right? These childhood wounds, all et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then God can bring that desire back years from now. So I know you're and I'm laughing because when I was telling her this, when the person is so turned off, it's almost like they want to just vomit, because you're thinking about, Kizzy, please don't tell me this is what God is doing. I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm just telling you the possibilities, because God can say, because I was never even in this thing at all, there's no way I can bring it back, because I was never even in it. I had another man ordained for you, and you're not. But I got to still heal you from all that stuff that you accumulated over there before I release him to you, or you to him. So I'm going to keep a desire from everything from you until I get you through this healing season. So I'm going to have you isolated for a while. But I ain't going to tell you what it's going to be, right? Either I'm going to change your desire to go back, because I already worked on him individually, or I got a whole kingdom spouse for you. And because you spent your lifetime, literally, you spent your lifetime pouring into and pouring into and helping and helping and helping and helping and helping. Let me tell you, I told her this, but I told her that God told me this about a group of people. I'm sure a lot of y'all fit in this category. Those of you really who have that serving spirit, and I don't care if it comes from trauma, if it's trauma based, or if that's just who you are, or whatever. Sometimes people say, oh, that's just who I am, I'm just a server, I just love to love on people, and that could be true, but a lot of times it's coming from trauma and you don't even realize it, because you want to be accepted, you want to be such and such, so you're just loving on people because there's a seed that's still some kind of way just longing to want to be loved on properly and want to be accepted. So you're just constantly giving. There's nothing wrong with giving at all, but it has to be from a healthy place. That's a very hard trying to discern the fine line. I struggle with that a lot. But the key to that is, if you just wait, God will come in and let you know. Right? If you pause, God will let you know if that's emotions or if that's conviction. But God said, those of you who've done that and you just feel like, I've just been taking care of people all my life, we are going into a season where we're not going to know what to do with ourselves. God is going to have people waiting on us hand and foot. We are not going to know what to do with ourselves because we're so busy doing for other people, right? So you know how it is when God tells you to sit down, right? Or somebody invites you to a party and you're supposed to just be there and you're jumping up and you're washing the dishes, or you're trying to like serve people, whatever. And we have a hard time just not. But I think a grace will come upon us where we will be okay with just sitting down and receiving it, because now we know that God is returning the blessing. And lastly, I told her, when I was looking at a video of her and one of her kids, I said, sis, you know what's crazy? When I was looking at this video last week, God has shown me something in the spiritual realm. I said, I was going to call you about it, but it just kind of fizzled out. But God had shown me a spiritual vision on how your ability to keep pressing, even though you're fearful, even though that's going to break the cycle. It's literally going to break the chain where your kids don't follow, because she does have girls too. Your kids don't follow that pattern, right? Because all they see is you catering to and waiting on a very, very toxic man who have his own demons and his own struggles, and right, not a bad person, but just got a lot of issues, right? No judgment, because again, we all have our stuff. But your daughter is going to choose a man based on that she can take care and fix him. And think about it. That's why many of we as people have chosen individuals who we can quote unquote fix. Many times it's because it's generational cycles and curses and et cetera, et cetera. So by her breaking this cycle, she's going to save her daughters. So sometimes if God is really calling you to certain things, and you have this mindset like, God, why is that all my life I had to fight mentality? Sometimes you will have to fight for a very long time, and it's not even for you. It's for you, but it's for the next generation. It's for your daughters. It's for your nieces, your nephews, your son. So the change and why it's so hard for you is because it's for you, but it's really not for you. It's for them. So that mindset alone will give you that gruffness to really get things done and to really follow what God is saying to you. because you know it's going to be beneficial to them. So I want to share that with you guys. But you guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.